you're reading them every day. And you can get those for very cheap, like 20 or $30 now. And the Apostolic Bible you can get for for just about the same amount, if not a little bit more, a little bit less, in paperback or anything like that. And just a wonderful resource, all contained together. Now, the other great thing is some of the Bible programs have the Apostolic Bible Polyglot on the software program. And it's got the Strong's coding, it's got the English for renderings. It's excellent. And then you would use those in case, so when you come up with a problem, when you come up with a word that you don't understand, or you don't understand why they translated a word a certain way, you don't understand a passage in your study Bible, then you would go back to your interlinear and you would say, okay, why did they translate this word the way they did in that instance, in that passage, that specific passage of, say, Timothy, of 2 Timothy, why did they translate it this way? And then you could do cross-references and say, well, how did they translate that word when it's used throughout the rest of the Bible? And then you'd be able to do comparisons. And so then you can get into the nuances of the language itself and the differences in the languages, and you'd be surprised what you could catch. Translators and their motives behind what they're doing. So it allows you to get in deeper into the word in your studies. Now, when you have an interlinear, you definitely want to get in deeper into the words itself. So the next thing that you'd want to pick up is a good Hebrew English lexicon, or which is another word for dictionary. Best ones to use are Thayer's for Greek, the BDB, but mostly anymore I use Mickelson's, which is an updated version of Strong's Greek and Hebrew lexicon, which seems to work great so far, and I use that on my Bible software program. So I rarely use the DVD or the Thayer's, and the DVD is the Hebrew lexicon, and Thayer's is the Greek lexicon. So now the next thing you want to get, and you'll use this a little bit more, is an exhaustive cross-reference system. Really what that is, for every verse in the Bible, say you would go to John 3:16, and then you would say, okay, well, I want to know whatever John 3:16 is talking about, God's love, I want to know where that is also talked about elsewhere in the Bible. And if you're a new student to the Bible, you would have no idea where that's at. You would either have to just be dumbfounded and not know, or you'd have to go find somebody. But with a cross-reference system, look up John 3:16, and then it will list under John 3:16 everywhere else in the Bible. It'll give references to everywhere else in the Bible where it talks about that same topic. Now, it's not foolproof. It's not exact. I mean, it's subjective, because what the people who put together these cross-reference systems, they are operating under presuppositions. They're operating under biases. They have their own, oftentimes their own denomination, beliefs in mind. So it's definitely not an exact science. Best thing to do for your cross-references is to start your own. You can do it on a computer. You can do it in a notepad. It doesn't really matter. Second to the last piece that you'll want for your library is a solid encyclopedia set, one specifically geared towards the Bible. Now, I'm not talking about the one volumes, because those are very concise, those are very limited. What you want is a multi-volume encyclopedia set. And the best one that I found that I use often is the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia. And a great thing is it's available free online. Lastly, you'll want to start collecting commentaries. And that is books, audio programs, video programs that are geared towards the Bible itself. Not so much topical materials that deal with a topic like divorce or sin or anything like that, but actually verse-by-verse commentaries where a preacher or a biblical teacher is taking you through verse by verse and explaining the nuances and explaining the aspects of the text itself. Now, on this thing, you want to be really cautious with commentaries, because they are just opinion. They are not authoritative. They are just somebody else, just like me, who has an opinion on the Bible and has decided to either write it down in a book or has created an audio or a video program like this. And I'm not saying that they're not good. They are actually very good a lot of the times, but you want to be very careful, because there are a lot of false teaching out there that you got to be aware of. So what you want to do is use your commentaries as a backboard, and anything that doesn't sound right, If you read your Bible every day, just your Bible, and then you also do your studies with your study Bible, and then you use all these other tools that we've talked about, you will be amazed when you find problems in people's commentaries. They will be glaringly obvious to you. So there you have it. So the next time a King James only supporter questions you about the Bible that you have, I just tell them that it's okay that you use all the Bibles, not just that one. So let's take a moment and do a quick review. Number one, don't use just one single Bible translation. You want to use all three types. You want to use a formal equivalent, a dynamic equivalent, and a paraphrase. If you use a dynamic or a paraphrase for your reading Bible, you definitely want to use a formal translation for your study Bible. You can also use a formal translation for your reading Bible, but you definitely want to at least use the formal for your study Bible. And then when you start adding to your library, you want to make sure that you add a dynamic and a paraphrase so that you would have all three of them as reference or as reading. But you want the formal to be kind of the hub of your main study. So basically, you want to definitely get a translation that entices you to pick it up and then read it. Really want to stress that. And it's important that we need to recognize that there is an entire subset of Christianity that is driven by greed and not by the Spirit. Watch out for them. Jesus said that we are sent out as sheep amidst the wolves. And he said we need to be wise as serpents, but as innocent as doves. So lastly, I would urge you not to accept any kind of doctrine or any kind of teaching second or third hand. Meaning everything I've said here, don't believe any of it. Okay? Anything your pastor says on Sunday morning, don't believe any of it. Don't accept any of it until you have taken it and you have passed it through this setup that we've just created here. That it resonates with your reading, your daily reading. You've checked it out with your study Bible. That you've cross-referenced it with all the other native language Bibles that you have.